PSG versus Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid versus Manchester United, Inter versus Liverpool. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it is fair to say that the Champions League, it is officially back. And with the Champions League being back, so are my predictions. As in today's video, I'm going to be giving you my predictions for the Champions League round of 16, leg 1. And of course, this stage of the competition, only 16 teams remain. We've got 8 round of 16 games to talk about, and we only have the best of the best left in this competition. So it is going to be highly tense to talk about because there are so many brilliant teams. And to think at this stage of the competition, we've already lost the likes of Erling Haaland for Borussia Dortmund. We've already lost Barcelona with Martin Braithwaite. Already at this stage of the competition, we have lost some big names, but I think that kind of just explains by itself how tense the competition has been and how competitive the Champions League is this season. But of course, looking at the games we have to look out for the round of 16, we start off with Sporting CP versus Manchester City. I promise you there, I didn't try to rhyme. In fact, I do so when I only have the time.
You're joking. Not another one?
In terms of other games to look out for, we of course have PSG versus Real Madrid, an absolutely mammoth fixture, probably the most highly anticipated game of round of 16. Two absolute giants teams, and I cannot believe at this stage of the competition that one of them will be knocked out already. It's just so insane to think about. We also have Salzburg versus Bayern Munich. We've got Inter versus Liverpool, once again, absolutely gigantic game. We've got Chelsea versus Lille, which, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, against the Club World Cup champions, I'm a little bit scared for the French team. We've obviously got Villarreal versus Juve next. We've got Benfica versus Ajax, and to end off the round of 16, we've got Atletico Madrid versus Manchester United. As I said, we are missing some big teams already, but once again, the competition is still very much there, as we've got some top talent. We've got some top quality talent left in this competition that we will be talking about in today's video. Jumping straight into my Champions League round of 16 predictions, talking about diving straight into a fixture, we're going to be talking about Raheem Sterling's Manchester City versus Sporting CP. Now, of course, Sporting CP, although not top of the Portuguese league, they've had a very good season, only losing 2 games and already second place in their league. It shows how competitive that league has been this season. I don't think they've had an absolutely awful Champions League campaign. I mean, looking at 2 of their fixtures, I mean, they obviously got a 4-1 win versus Besiktas there, a 4-1 win versus Besiktas, 4-0 win there, but obviously versus some of the other teams, they have struggled to gain points, so I haven't been entirely convinced. Looking at their recent league fixture though versus Porto, I thought they had a really decent performance. I think in terms of holding on to possession, in terms of almost having a tiki-taka style of play, I thought they did relatively well, although they ended up drawing that game. But versus Manchester City, yes, although they haven't had the most convincing Champions League season yet, we just all know how brilliant Manchester City can be, pretty much running away with the Premier League this season. I know many people who will say they're not running away with the Premier League this season. If you are saying that, let's be honest, you are lying. They are looking once again like an absolutely phenomenal team, one of the teams you don't have to explain how good they are, although the Champions League does seem to be some sort of their kryptonite when it comes to winning trophies. But Manchester City, once again, we know how absolutely brilliant they can be. Nothing personal versus Sporting, but I do think it is going to be a 1-0 win. As I said, Man City have struggled in the Champions League over the years, so I'm not going to make it an absolutely convincing win. But yeah, I really do like this Manchester City team. I think they've got so much potential to them. Do think they'll win, and my player to watch has to be Raheem the Dream Sterling. Just scored a hat-trick in the Premier League. Yes, it was versus Norwich, but once again, just a man on form at the moment and could be the difference maker versus Sporting. Moving on, we've got PSG versus Real Madrid. Of course, the big talks is going to be the big Frenchman, Kylian Mbappe, versus a team who could be his next home next season. I don't know, it depends how petty Real Madrid gets if he scores against them. And of course, talking about another big Frenchman, we've of course got the likes of Karim Benzema, who it looks like he'll still be injured for this game. An absolutely massive loss for Real Madrid to not be able to play Benzema for Real Madrid versus PSG in such a huge fixture. It is going to be a big one. Obviously going to be an absolutely massive game looking at PSG. Once again, as you can see, according to their Champions League form, they haven't been dominating the way that they should. Looking at Real Madrid, obviously one loss it was versus Sheriff. Obviously that was a tiny bit of an odd one. But overall, Real Madrid can be very proud of their Champions League campaign. Obviously the top of La Liga at the moment as well. And although they don't have Benzema, obviously lots of people will be looking at Vinicius Jr. to perform, which I mean, I don't know. Vinicius Jr. has been a really good partner to Karim Benzema. So they almost need each other to play well, although he is a brilliant player overall. As I said, I just think it's going to be such a tight contest between these two teams. Obviously, another big talking point will be the likes of Lionel Messi versus one of his biggest rivals of all time. Once again, it's just going to be such a highly anticipated game. I mean, my feet are already warming up from the absolute fire this is going to be, but I do think it will be a close one, and dare I say it's going to be a 2-1 win to PSG. As I said, I do like this Real Madrid team. They've just drawn with Villarreal though. Yeah, I do like this Real Madrid team, but I do think that PSG just have the upper edge as they do have majority of their players in their squad at the moment. Real Madrid missing Karim Benzema. Do think PSG will take it, and I do think Kylian Mbappe will be your man to keep your eyes glued to. Once again, as I said, he has been linked to Real Madrid. 12 goals and 9 assists in the French league this season. 4 goals in 6 games in the Champions League. Just an unbeatable man at the moment, and I think he'll be the player to watch in this fixture. Moving on, we've got Salzburg versus Bayern Munich. Now yes, I really do like Salzburg. They are top of the Austrian league at the moment, but of course, just looking at Bayern Munich, absolutely unbeatable at the moment in terms of goals scored. They've scored 22 goals in 6 Champions League games this season. In terms of clean sheets or goals conceded, they've only conceded 3, so Bayern Munich definitely looking like the team to beat. Yes, they just randomly lost versus a really random team in the Bundesliga over the weekend.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
But other than that, we know how good Bayern Munich can be. We know how good players like Lewandowski, Neuer, all of those players can be. So it really is nothing personal against Salzburg. I think that they are a brilliant team. They were given a really difficult group with the likes of Sevilla, Wolfsburg and Lille in their group. So the fact that they made it out, I think they can be tremendously proud of themselves. But I do think Bayern Munich will take it. I do feel like it will be a very comfortable 3-0 smack. And my player to watch, it has to be good old Lewandowski. 9 goals in the Champions League so far this season, and I think he will continue. In fact, all 3 of these goals might be Lewandowski's at the rate that he is going. I mean, this man could score a hat-trick in every single game in the Champions League and would probably still lose the Ballon d'Or, unfortunately.
It's funny because it's true.
But moving on, we've got Inter Milan, or Internazionale as they are now called, versus Liverpool. Once again, going to be an extremely good game. Both teams are second in their respective leagues. Inter obviously in the Italian league, Liverpool in the Premier League, although Inter do have a game in hand above AC Milan, so they could still technically be first in their league. But of course, looking at these two teams, once again going to be an incredibly close game. I really do like this Inter team. They of course only lost 2 games in the Champions League group. My only worry is those 2 losses were against the likes of Real Madrid, and where their points did come from were against Sheriff and the likes of Donetsk. So once again, kind of results that were expected of them. So versus big teams that they have struggled against. And Liverpool, they are a big team and they won all of the games, and their group included Porto, Atletico Madrid, AC Milan. They by far had a tougher group and they won all of the games. So in terms of the Champions League, Liverpool looking a lot more convincing, and I am going to have to give them I'm actually going to go for a 3-2 result, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be so highly competitive. I think there will be a lot of goals in it. As I said, 2 teams that are filled with some brilliant players, but Liverpool have just been a bit more convincing, have taken more necessary points than Inter, and I think that's why they'll end up getting the win. And in terms of a player to watch, it has to be Mo Salah, the Egyptian king, the AFCON finalist. 7 goals in the Champions League so far this season. I think he's going to continue it. Once again, absolutely brilliant player, but this team as a whole, once again, it could go either way, but I do think Liverpool will snatch it. Moving on, we've got Chelsea versus Lille. Now, no, Chelsea haven't been the most convincing team in the entire world this season from points. They've only won 1 game in their last 5 Premier League games, which very underwhelming considering most people expected them to win the Premier League this season and they're not even within the top 2. So a tiny bit disappointing, but versus Lille, a team that is 10th place in the French league, I would really hope that Chelsea could pick up the points here. Obviously, it is Chelsea. We know that they can drop a weird point here or there, but versus Lille, I do expect him to get the result. Obviously, Lille, after selling one or two key players after winning the league last season, I think that has let them down. They have had a few sloppy performances, but I do think Chelsea, the Club World Cup champions, will end up taking it, and I am going to give it a 3-1 win. And in terms of a player to watch, I'm going to go for the good old Romelu Lukaku. Yes, has gotten a lot of criticism as of late, but of course scored in the last 2 games in the Club World Cup for Chelsea. He has been a massive asset for them as of late, and I do think that he will help them get the result versus Lille. Moving on, we've got Villarreal versus Juventus. Once again, could be a very entertaining game. Obviously, Villarreal was in a group with Manchester United. Myself, as a Manchester United fan, if you couldn't tell already, I have to admit, versus Villarreal, I was terrified of them. Like, my bones were shaking. They were so scary when it came to attacking play. Defensive play, yes, they had a few sloppy moments, but they definitely had their really good defensive moments from time to time. Villarreal isn't a bad team. Yes, they're 7th place in the league at the moment, but they just drew with Real Madrid. They still have a lot to shine, and I don't think just looking at their league position at the moment is the correct way to judge them. I mean, especially looking at them versus Juventus, who are 4th in Serie A. They've really fallen from grace. I mean, yes, they've won all their Champions League group stage games, except for one, which was a 4-0 loss to Chelsea. It's a bit embarrassing. So versus these two teams, although Juve seem to be the obvious favourites, I do think it could be an incredibly close game, to be honest with you. I do think that, in my opinion, I'm going to put it down as a draw. I know, tiny bit controversial, but I genuinely do think that they could end up splitting the points on this one. But looking at Juventus, in terms of the player to watch, I am going to give them the player to watch because they obviously have the likes of vlahovic. I think that's how you pronounce it. Obviously, their brand new striker, vlahovic, once again, the Serbian striker. Once again, brand new to the team, scored on his debut, 17 goals in 21 Serie A games this season. This kid, once again, he's going to be a star. I could almost put him in the same group as Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe in terms of the potential a player like him has. Once again, been on fire form in terms of scoring, and I think that he will help Juventus to a draw versus Villarreal. Moving on to our second last game, Benfica versus Ajax. Now, once again, I like Benfica. They've only lost 4 games in their league this season, but 3rd place in the Portuguese league versus Ajax. Once again, nothing bad versus Benfica, but Ajax currently top of the, obviously, Dutch league, where they're expected to be, obviously, a phenomenal. They topped their group in the Champions League, unbeaten at the moment. I think that they are looking seriously good at the moment, considering they had games versus Borussia Dortmund. They didn't drop points versus them, versus Besiktas, a top team, versus Sporting. Ajax have had a Champions League campaign to remember, and it could almost be reminiscent of their 18-19 season, where they got to the semi-final. I really do like this Ajax team, and I do think that they are just far better than Benfica at the moment. Once again, nothing bad versus Benfica, but I do think Ajax will take it. And in terms of a player to watch, it has to be the current top goal scorer in the Champions League, Sebastian Haller. I mean, as I said, 10 goals in the Champions League this season, considering this is his first ever season in the Champions League. Once again, mental to talk about. I can't even contemplate it, how good he's been. Obviously scored a hat-trick in his most recent Eredivisie game versus Twente. Yeah, I just think Ajax, at the end of the day, look like the most complete team and should win it comfortably. Moving on, we've got Atletico de Madrid versus Manchester United. Now, of course, both of these teams 5th in their respective leagues. Both teams being very underwhelming this season. I expected a lot more from Manchester United, considering the caliber of players they have in their team, to be 5th after West Ham United to draw 1-1 versus Burnley and 1-1 versus Southampton after having the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano Ronaldo, David De Gea, the most expensive centre-back in the world. Once again, we know Manchester United deserve to be in a much better place. Looking at Atletico Madrid, they won the league last season. They've got Luis Suarez, they've got Jan Oblak, they've got brilliant players. So they also haven't quite been where they need to be. They obviously got a very difficult Champions League group, so they have been a bit unlucky there. Almost a bit lucky if you see them in terms of results to make it through to the next stage. Obviously recently lost 4-2 versus Barcelona. I won't lie, although it looked like Atletico Madrid were going to come back towards the end of the game. Once again, Barcelona just absolutely absolutely dominated them, and that's a team that has been struggling. So looking at these two teams, a lot is expected of them. I think it could go either way, and I hate to say this as a Manchester United fan because I always believe in my team, but I might go with a 2-1 win to Atletico Madrid here, to be honest with you. Once again, I just know Manchester United, the points that they've lost, it's really funny, but believe it or not, I'm actually going to end up putting down a 2-1 win for my boys, the Red Devil. Now, the reason I say that is because looking at United versus smaller teams, they do tend to struggle, and versus bigger teams, they seem to do well. I don't know, we're funny and quirky like that, I guess. But versus Atletico Madrid, as I said, just watching that game versus Barcelona, I was just very underwhelmed with them at the moment. Jan Oblak isn't having a great season. Once again, they've got some brilliant players in their squad, but it could genuinely go either way. I'm really contemplating in terms of the result, but I think I will give it to United. But Atletico Madrid could easily come back in the second leg. And do I think they'll come back in the second leg? I think you'll have to come back for the next video, because that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for my Champions League round of 16 predictions for leg 1. As I said, we'll see how leg 1 goes, and we'll see for the leg 2 predictions that I make in a week or so time. Once again, Champions League, as you can see, with the 16 teams remain, there is so much quality. There are some big games to look out for. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have ended up enjoying this video. If you have, make sure to subscribe down below to join the community, and hit the like button down below to show your appreciation for this video if you did enjoy it. But guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I want you to put down in the comment section down below which game are you most excited to watch. For me personally, although I'm a United fan, PSG versus Real Madrid, that will be fantastic. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. But guys, this has been Finn, FYNN. Until next time, cheers.